Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the North Node in Leo in a natal horoscope. Well, as most of you know, the North Node is connected with what a person generally will emphasize and accentuate more, like in the second or latter part of their life, generally after the age of 30. South Node is what I call that the redundant spot of the horoscope, something where people tend to gravitate to and fall back on maybe a little bit too much and excessively. The North Node is kind of like, like our second time around, what we need to emphasize. So anyway, let me get started. The first thing is with Leo North Node. I think when we look at this, is that the person might need to focus a little bit more on their own, I guess we could say their ego needs, and perhaps not detach themselves from friends by any means, or things that have to do with friends and their groups and being the universal friend to others. But I think the attention might need to be put more on themselves a little, because this might have been neglected in the first part of the person's life to some degree. There's ways to tend to your own ego needs without necessarily being egocentric. Sometimes when if the emphasis is too much on friends and other people, we lose the ability to tend or give ourselves the attention that we need. This is not to say necessarily that the North Node in Leo is gonna be about glitz and glamour, but this person may need to seek some kind of recognition or accolades or something for achievements. Perhaps that wasn't something that wasn't emphasized in that first half of this person's life. Look at the North Node in Leo. The South Node being in Aquarius, is that Aquarius is connected with being the nonconformist, being eccentric, sometimes even a little bit rebellious. If we emphasize, the South Node is emphasized too much, as far as in this case the Aquarius, this person may sometimes lean too much maybe toward being nonconforming, and at the extreme might feel almost like the outcast at times, so despite the need for friends and group involvement and being the universal friend or whatever. So what it is perhaps this is such where the person may need to go really, well, I should say needs to emphasize or accentuate their North Node, in this case in Leo, especially in the second half of their life, and be more attentive to, I guess you could say, their own needs, just being magnanimous in general, and to see meet their own, I guess you could say, their needs to some degree. And it's not necessarily about being flamboyant or being like at the center of attention, but seeking attention for themselves to some degree, just for their own purpose, more about self-attention, I would say, more than just about being attention-getting or grasping necessarily. Person with the North Node in Leo may need, I don't want to say to be domineering or any way, shape, or form, but maybe to be kind of the person that might be kind of maybe be the dominant one to some degree, a little bit more, as far as so maybe some of their friendships go. This might be somebody that might have catered a lot to their friends' whims and their needs for a long time, and maybe to just let them know that their needs are going to have to take precedence to some degree, and not be so much have as much of an emphasis on trying to be the person that's going to be the humanitarian all the time and do this for this person, do this for this acquaintance, do this for this friend. More about letting their needs kind of, I don't want to say dominate, but just like I stated before, take priority largely because this may have been neglected in the first part of the person's life and even in the lifetime prior to this one. So that is something where I think that's what needs to take quote unquote center stage as far as the North Node in Leo goes, and less about being the unique oddball or the eccentric one or the somebody that is maybe, I don't know if, I don't want to say iconoclastic, but somebody that is just completely unconventional and just different. It's more about just being, maybe leaning a little bit more toward conservatism and doing the things that make this person shine in their own light, their own being like, I guess what I'm trying to say is doing things where they can stand out for themselves as an individual, and as opposed to constantly putting the emphasis on the other people. There is a way to have a balance and equilibrium between those, between others and yourself. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the North Node in Leo in a natal horoscope. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the North Node in Virgo in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis on a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.